Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 3 of Star Trek Euthenia. I'm ELH the Game Master, and I don't really have much in the way of announcements this week. I think we're just going to do introductions and get right to it. So, Aaron, take it away.
Hey guys, I'm Aaron. You all hopefully would know who I am by now, or at least recognize my face. I've been here for a couple of years. I'm playing Captain Williams, the human commanding officer of the Euthenia. Monday nights, I'm Lu Song-Shi, the Earthbender from Ba Sing Se on Dark Avatar.
I'm Watney. I'm playing Commander Stetko, the first officer of the Euthenia. Happy to be here.
I'm Dag, and I am playing, which character is it this time? Razib, the doctor of Euthenia, and he's an Adosian. He has 3 arms and 3 legs. Can you believe it? It's going to be a good show tonight, and if you want to chat about it, you can hit me up at Trek Nexus on Twitter.
Hello, everyone. My name is Matthew. I play the ship's intelligence officer, a Vergeron named Vizeth. He's a member of a species native to the Delta Quadrant that is particularly hostile, and that's probably going to be germane to our adventures this evening. I also play Amaruk, a waterbender, on Monday nights in ELH's Avatar game.
And just a quick note that if you're looking where is Dare Wolf, he has stepped out for the month of March. Hopefully he'll be back in April, but we'll apprise you on that once we know more. But yeah, let's go ahead and roll the intro video and get started. All right, and there you go. Speak of the devil and he shall appear. There's Dare Wolf. Thanks for dropping by, buddy. Hopefully you're doing well. But yeah, we start today's session with a shot of the Euthenia slowly approaching a blue giant star system. Now, the star itself is immense. It's beyond words how large this thing is. But it's not the star that's the important thing. It's the fact that sitting in orbit of the star at a reasonable distance is the twisted remains of what appears to be a Vergeron destroyer of some sort. Now, since it's been a while since the Vergeron have starred, I'll sort of remind you what that looks like. So if you take kind of a curved dagger, or maybe a talon, or like a cat's claw, and you were to size it up to be about the size of a sovereign class, that's what you're looking at here. And it's not kind of curved looking towards you, it's kind of laying on its side, so it kind of curves to the left. And it is shorn, as in it looks like some great force has slammed down through the center of this thing and cored the claw all the way through. And as the Euthenia assumes a safe distance, we go to the Euthenia bridge, where all of you are currently on the bridge deciding what the hell to do with this situation.
Dorothy, can we scan for any life forms?
Yeah, that's, she kind of looks across the way. Hey, Rash, you want to take this one? I have to. Oh, fine, I'll do it. So Rash, if she were not sleeping, would tell you that life signs are fluctuating. They go from 1 to 100 to 1,000, then back to 1. So I can't really tell you if there's any good life signs over there. But what I can tell you is there seems to be Omicron radiation just coming off of the hull and To be honest, unless I've missed something in my databanks, I literally just made up the name Omicron radiation because I don't have a term for what radiation it is.
Okay. The life signals you are getting, are they Vergeron?
That's the other part. Believe it or not, I'm seeing human, Cation, Betazoid, Vergeron, about 6 others. I couldn't tell you what they are. They're all over the place.
That should be impossible.
Agreed, but here we are.
Dorothy, what about power emanations from the ship?
That's the other thing. It ramps from impulse drive levels to warp 9.9 levels. And again, just fluctuates between.
Vizeth, on a ship of this type, are there any blind spots in their weapon arrays that we could take advantage of to make an approach?
My species is known for its somewhat direct approach to combat. The main spiral cannon on board one of our vessels would be oriented only in one direction, and we're not known for our maneuverability. An assault from smaller craft could be effective, approach from the rear, but Captain, given the damage, and he's actually going to pull up a tactical display, is there any way that I can assess the damage to the power systems and weapon systems on the vessel based on what I know of its configuration through a scan?
You certainly may. Go ahead and give me a reason security. The ship will assist you with a sensors security. And if memory serves, you guys deliberately got the high resolution sensors, so that's going to give you an extra question.
And I'll use augmented ability reason.
Alrighty. Starts you off with 1 free success, and the difficulty is 0 because very easy to scan at this point. Also, wait, did I really? I thought I made up Omicron. Is it actually a thing? I might have to. I might have to do a Hail Mary and change it on the fly here. We'll see. Oh hell yeah, it's Omicron. All right, I'm gonna have to change it. Darn you, Memory Alpha.
It's a good thing though. We could totally take that and just run in a really weird direction.
Yeah, that would.
I'd be surprised if there wasn't an entry for that. Honestly.
Let me very quickly, but yeah, you got 2 successes. If someone could get sensors and security for the ship, as I frantically scroll through the radiations. Let's see.
Anyone claiming the ship?
I think you just did.
All right, sensors, security, perform task.
Yep, perform task, and it's going to ask you to whether you're rolling a die or if you have a focus, and it's 1 die, and you always have a focus for the ship.
Number of dice in pool 1. I literally think this might be my first roll in our new format here.
Nice. And you get a crit. Very nice. So that's 4
Nice.
successes, meaning you get 3 momentum, bringing you up to 4. So real quick, I'm going to change it to Epsilon radiation, since the only thing that Memory Alpha has on Epsilon is that it's maybe a byproduct of Tetrion reactors, so we're safe. We can mess with Epsilon radiation. But what you learn there, Vizeth, as you scan the vessel, the power systems are, to put it lightly, they are kind of phasing in and out of this dimension. It's almost as if something is pushing them out of the physical plane, and then it's coming back. It's like a rubber band. You stretch it so much, you let it go, it snaps back. You stretch it so much, you let it go. And while it's operational, the ship has power, but you're looking at an operating window of about 18 minutes between power cycles.
Okay. Quick, I guess, note about momentum. We got 1 free from chat, and there was that free success that I already had. So I think we're up to 6.
Yeah, you're up to 6. Yeah, because of augmented control.
Then Vizeth is actually going to feed that information into a holographic tactical display that will appear before Captain Williams and Commander Stetko. And you'll see that he's highlighted various different points in the cycle of oscillations, I guess, through the power systems, best designed to destroy the vessel outright with a series of salvos of quantum torpedoes. Captain, I believe that it would be possible to destroy the vessel outright with a targeted assault, given the damage it's already suffered.
Well, I appreciate your candor, Vizeth, but there are people alive on board.
That is a problem we could easily rectify, Captain.
If life is not your concern, Vizeth, there's always the opportunity to learn from the enemy's hardware instead of scuttling it.
Given the nature of this vessel's apparent condition being phased in and out of our reality, I would be loath to investigate any further. Best to nip the problem in the bud, I believe is the human colloquialism.
Stecco will step towards the display and take a closer look. Is it phasing in and out of subspace?
That's the thing, is you think, I mean, that's a natural thing to think in Star Trek, is it's subspace, but
That's what
it's
she
an
did.
entirely different dimension than anything any sensor that the Federation has ever recorded.
Okay. Well, that would whet her curiosity even more since their whole job is to explore. So she would ask that question. Who would answer? Is that Dorothy answering?
I think Dorothy would
or
have told you that.
Rash?
Yeah, like Dorothy
Okay.
would have been like, "All right, sorry. I'm a little bit amazed with all the new stuff that's going on. Sorry, it was epsilon radiation, but no. I mean, it's not subspace, but it's also not like fluidic space, and it's also not like the Nexus. It's also not like that weird third thing that the Borg did once. But I don't know. I'm looking at that and I'm thinking we're gonna write a paper on this if we ever make it back.
Well, let's make sure that we do. Commander Rash, can you wake up for a moment, please?
Oh yeah, that's yeah. What do you mean to do, Captain?
I need you to analyze all the available data that we have and find some way to allow us to beam off that ship if we got stranded there.
Kind of stares at the console for a moment.
Perhaps a modified pattern enhancers.
I literally was just about to say, Captain, just take a pattern enhancing king over and don't stand next to those power generators as they're cycling, and we should be able to beam you in and out, no problem.
Well, all right then.
Captain,
Major.
while I do support the notion of going over there and rescuing whoever may be surviving, would it be prudent to launch a shuttle as a backup transporter in the event that the shipboard transporters can't get our signals?
Oh, we're going to take a shuttle over.
I misunderstood that.
I think
I didn't say, but perhaps I should have. Commander?
Stecco would be replaying the distress signal.
And interestingly enough, it's Morse code. It's literally the 3 dots, 3 dashes, 3 dots, repeats.
Standard SOS. That, along with picking up Federation life signs.
Well, that certainly lends credence to the phasing between dimensions theory, evidence, some combination of both. It's possible that this ship isn't native to our universe.
It's
Specialist
possible. It's go ahead, Doug.
Go ahead, Commander.
It's possible that this is phasing into the Federation somewhere as well and causing a stir.
If that is the case, and there is some sort of subspace anomaly that is yoking 2 points in the alpha and delta quadrants to some unknown parallel reality or other phase of existence, might that not also be a means by which you and your crew could return home?
Suddenly Rash sits up a little straighter and goes, I mean, yeah, now that he says it, there's a lot of similarities to the Vergeron wormhole here. I mean, it's not stable like the Vergeron wormhole, but it's also using, again, some plane of existence that I've never heard of. But if it is getting human life signs, it's got to be going back to the alpha or beta quadrants.
I am forced to ask an obvious question. Specialist Vizeth, are there any Vergeron tactics that employ misdirection in such a manner? Could we be walking into a trap?
That is not by people's way, Major. Unless there has been a radical shift in tactical doctrine, we believe in overwhelming force. As you've noted through several of our experiences, other races have been able to subvert us, to avoid us, delay us through subterfuge. The captain's own experience with my games of stratagema are a testament to that.
Good to know. Thanks for clearing that up.
However, there is a more immediate concern. If we have detected this distress call, it's entirely probable that others will as well, perhaps even other Vergeron vessels. Would it not be prudent to launch a series of combat air patrols?
Excellent idea, Vizeth. See to it.
Very good. Captain, may I also suggest that we conceal a flight of bombers inside the corona of the sun? I believe that your species has some form of metaphasic shielding that would protect them and perhaps provide them with the opportunity for a stealth attack.
Thought you said your people's way wasn't subterfuge.
I have learned a great deal from my time on board this vessel, Captain.
So, Commander Stetka, what do you think?
I think he's after my job.
Well, he's got a few rungs to climb before he gets up there. Make it so, Mr. Vizeth.
Very good, Captain.
I'd like to analyze the surrounding solar system for anything of note.
Anything you're looking for in particular? Because literally besides the star and the debris field / wreck, there's a few stray asteroids that have tritanium in them if you really want to go mine tritanium, but there's not a whole lot here. It's just kind of the sun and the debris field at the moment.
Okay, so it's like a rogue, it's like just star without planets.
Correct, yeah. But it's not a rogue star because I know it's kind of a hard thing to distinguish sometimes, but it's orbiting something. It's not just pinging through a galaxy, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
And I'd like to try something as well, Game Master, if I could.
Sure.
It's probably futile, but I figured we should try this anyway.
Well, if it's
I'd like to
resistance.
I'd like to hail the ship.
Okay. That is not resistance.
Oh.
All right. So Dorothy opens
Is
a
this
channel.
our first contact? No,
It
it's
could
not first
be.
contact. No, because
It could
we talk to them
Yeah,
back with
told them-
the gel guys,
we
the
told
slime
them.
guys.
We
Okay.
told them get lost.
Yeah.
So Dorothy reports, channel opens, sir.
Vergeron vessel, this is the Federation starship Euthenia. We've monitored your distress call and are prepared to render assistance. Please acknowledge.
So I tried to get a good voice clip for this, but it was just not working in terms of audio, so you'll have to indulge me a little bit here. You're hearing Hamlet in French. You're hearing one of the Vulcan treaties on emotion. You're hearing Klingon opera. You're hearing Dominion war chants. You're hearing a myriad of different species, culture, and languages that the Universal Translator could translate, but is currently not because it's just so jumbled and mixed together. And you also pick up snippets of Vergeron language. There's snippets of probably about 50 languages. It played in a space of about 10 seconds.
Captain,
Major.
recommend that we attempt to work on isolating each of these transmissions and sort them by time index.
Excellent idea. Work with Dorothy to make that happen.
Yes, sir.
Turning behind him, Vizeth is then going to look over at Razib. Doctor, I believe prior to my arrival on this crew, you encountered what could only be called an infinite library.
I
Could
remember.
Could we have stumbled upon the oral equivalent of that? Transmissions, signals, texts from myriad different sources, all amalgamated in one place.
Some kind of archive for transmitted communications.
Possibly. Could we correlate sensor scans of that facility and the anomalous appearance, or its anomalous appearance, with what we've detected of this other realm?
Yeah, already did it. Yep, same kind of thing, same kind of signature, but I'm not seeing a black hole anywhere, so I don't know if it's the same, but it's close.
Rash, run an extrapolation. Given our previous recordings of the black hole size, density, and evaporation ratio, given the mass of Vergeron starships that we know, would the black hole, if it had collided with said ship, would have evaporated itself in annihilating it?
I give you about 60-40 odds on that.
60 yes or 60 no?
Yes.
Wait, so a black hole possibly colliding with this Vergeron star would have rendered the singularity like destroyed? Is that even possible? 60-40, I guess. Like we got the odds, but
If we're going to investigate, we very much need to identify what our directions are going to be. I volunteer to head up any recovery efforts for people, but we're going to need people who are going to be scanning to get those answers, Commander.
right. It is a distress signal. It's SOS. Priority is recovering lives. Secondary assignment is, of course, recovering information. Is the ship stable enough to even walk in? To have a landing party in?
Dorothy points at the highlighted section of the engines. I mean, just don't go into the main engineering and it seems stable enough. But as we saw with, what was it, the Library of Void, it could be entirely different once you get inside.
Take the EVA suits with us just in case.
Right. EVA suit, pattern enhancers, perhaps a couple of Type 3 phasers, just in case.
Several security details might be prudent as well.
Agreed.
And Commander Rash, will she be joining us? Considering the possibility of encountering diverse technologies even I may be unfamiliar with, it might be wise to have her with us.
I was actually going to suggest Dorothy with her exocomp. She needs field experience.
It'll be like that time we were on Italics B. Everyone in pairs, everybody checks in, no closed comm lines, yada, yada, yada.
All right. Well, let's get to it.
All right. So I've got a few notes written down here. Let me make sure I've got them all right. You've got bomber wings hiding in the sun's corona. You've got air flight support in the area, fighter craft support. You're going to be actually taking a shuttle over and docking with the vessel rather than transporting. And you maybe are taking a few security teams as well. Regarding EVA suits, I'm going to give you those free. But if you want Type 2 phasers, I will tell you that if I'm remembering correctly, it's 2 momentum and 1 threat. Or is it 1 momentum, 1 threat? I can't remember which. But either way, you're giving me at least 1 threat to take Type 3s.
Does the Type 3 have escalation?
It does, yeah.
It does.
Okay. Yeah. Well, if it's escalation, then yeah, it spend 1 momentum, the GM gets a threat.
All right, yeah. So go ahead and knock yourself down to 5 momentum. Now, when it comes to who's going to be going over, I'm guessing Stetko, Vizeth, and Razib. Aaron, do you want to bring Williams or do you want to bring a support character?
No, the captain's going to go.
Captain's going to go. Okay. And then, of course, Dorothy will be coming along in her exocomp body. All right.
GM question?
Yes.
Does Dorothy basically function in 2 minds then if she's inhabiting the exocomp as well as staying on the ship?
Correct, yes. So basically her exocomp body is self-sufficient, and once it returns to the ship, it will synchronize with main Dorothy, and they'll come to a consensus.
Before leaving, Razib will ask Dorothy on board to provide a feed of shipboard life signs from Euthenia, just in case there's a medical emergency while he's away.
You got it, Doc.
And did we say Rash was going or is Rash staying?
Unless you want to order Rash, I think Rash is kind of hinted she wants to
I
stay
think-
and hit data.
yeah.
So
Then I'm gonna ruin her day. The captain will leave her in command while he goes.
Perfect.
All right.
Don't let me down.
Man, maybe I shouldn't have. I need more coffee. Dorothy, coffee.
You know what you really ought to do.
Mm.
Go sit in the command chair, because there's no way any living creature could sleep in a chair that uncomfortable.
We're talking about the command chair, right?
Yeah, it's horrible.
Are you telling me I need to make you a new chair?
No, I'm telling you, you need to go sit in that chair and you won't be able to sleep so that you can be alert and in command. You see, the person in command should never sit comfortably.
I feel like there's a lot of literature from. Okay, it's neither here nor there. I get what you're saying. I'll try it out.
All right.
Razib's going to lean into Stetko and say, bet you 10 replicator rations she's got that chair comfy by the time we get back.
20.
You're on.
Better not touch my chair.
I think Stecco's rolling her eyes at the supposed pontification of Williams. It should never be comfy.
All
What
right.
a lesson.
Yeah, it's a good lesson from Williams, apparently.
Yeah.
All right. So we kind of go through a small montage where, of course, fighter craft, bomber wings, everything is launched out of the Euthenia's fighter bays. And we follow one of the, I'm going to give you guys the Shikaris escort for this one. One of the Shikaris escorts swoops around towards the back of the ship and then approaches along the port side as it searches for an opening. You do find one. You basically zoom as close as you can to the ship. You extend an umbilical. There's kind of a light rocking. And then it's reported via the sensors of the Shikaris escort that pressure has been stabilized and there is a breathable atmosphere on the other side of that airlock.
Nonetheless, I think it's best that everybody be suited up just in case.
Mm-hmm.
Ready to go.
So just out of curiosity, who's going to be taking the lead here? Who's going to be in front?
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Not the captain.
I
She's
think,
already mad that you're on the ship.
No, I was.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think that despite whatever anyone else would say, the Vergeron member of the crew here would be suggesting that he be the one to take the first steps, considering that this is an environment with which he is at least proximally familiar.
That way, if anybody who's Vergeron actually spots them, they're kind of like not tipped off at first either. I can see that.
All right. Sounds good.
Tricorder set to full sweep.
And now we get to see who's been keeping up with their memes recently. Because when you open the door and see what's inside the Vergeron vessel, it's not what any of you were expecting. I mean, I don't think anyone would have expected this. But basically, when you open the door, you see like the interior of what could be an office building. The walls are faded yellow.
Back rooms?
No, not the back rooms.
Oh my God.
You see faded yellow wallpaper, gray yellow flooring, fluorescent tube lights.
No, I don't.
There's just this faint buzzing that you're hearing as well, and your tricorder can't really pinpoint where the buzzing's coming from. But that's what you see when you walk out is the back rooms, yes.
Vizeth just takes a look at the humanoid officers of the away party. He says, "You seem to be experiencing some inordinate amount of stress. This environment is hostile to your people. This is not the interior of a Vergeron vessel.
It's too familiar.
Speak for yourself, Commander.
Would say that calls for a reshuffling of the leadership order.
I don't know how to navigate this environment any better than you, Major. Steps aside for the commander.
Okay. So I guess she'll take point and just sort of move slowly through the area.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where you like peek around walls, and it's very unnerving. There's points where you can look back to where you're coming from, and there shouldn't be corridors that lead that way, but there are. There's places where it doubles back on itself, but you arrive on the opposite side of the room that you left on. It is MC Escher turned up to 11 kind of a thing. And what I'm going to require from everyone before you move any further into this space, I am going to need you all to roll me a fitness and con, please, at a difficulty of 1 to start.
Oh boy.
And what this is going to represent is your ability to figure your way back to the shuttle if need be.
I'm going to argue for evasive maneuvers.
Sure, why not? Sure.
Can I use my survival focus?
I would say survival would apply here, yes.
Composure, because I'm trying to maintain it and maintain focus.
I'll give it to you, sure. So yeah, Razib gets 2. All right, I actually got to scroll back up here. Let me see what we got.
No successes from the captain.
All right, so Vizet, yeah, you guys are full on momentum. That's what this all ends up being. So everybody but the captain is going to be able to find their way back to the shuttlecraft at the current moment. The captain, though, you take like one wrong turn and you don't get lost per se, but there's definitely that moment where you're like, where'd everybody else go? And then like Dorothy floats around and goes, Captain, you really shouldn't be wandering off.
I thought I heard a noise. Right, lead on. Not lost.
So I would say she has her phaser in one hand and her tricorder in the other. And she's trying to like basically like figure out what direction to go based on the strength of any life form signal.
Do you want to let's drill down on that. Do you want to go any life form? Do you want to do a specific life form?
Okay, that's a great point because have the type of life forms crystallized at all? Like now that they're closer, can she detect?
You're definitely getting solid human, betazoid, standard Federation species. But you're also seeing now 8472. You're seeing some Borg. It's all over the place, but the difference is now that you're on site, you can distinguish signals from each other. So you can see that door over there or that opening leads to humans. That one over there leads to Borg. And you can kind of get away, but it's going to be difficult.
She would go towards the human signal.
Okay. So Stetko, I am going to need you to do let's do a control and a con here. I am going to initially set this at a difficulty of 2.
Okay.
And you do have 6 momentum to spend if you need it.
I don't think I have a focus.
No escape and avoidance?
Nope. Still not a well.
Gotta ask it every time.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. What's the difficulty?
Difficulty is 2.
Plenty of momentum.
I'm gonna spend a momentum.
Okay. So that'll give you 3 dice.
Yeah.
Ooh, no successes.
Okay.
Do you want to use determination to re-roll those die, or do you want to stick with the roll?
So I'm tapping a value if I'm
tapping a value.
No, I would have to tap a value.
You would, yes.
Okay. Oh, I forgot for the first half of this episode that she's an empath. Is she picking anything up?
Well, now that you ask, remember that sensation way back at the beginning of season 1 where you opened
Okay.
your mind and you felt that really unnerving, all powerful voice from beyond?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're feeling that twice as strong now.
And it's like a dread feeling.
It is dread incarnate. In fact, it is a level so far beyond dread that there is not an English word that describes how far gone this emotion is.
Okay, so since she's seeking out a human life form, I'm tapping a starship as a home, a crew as a family, because she's going to try and get anybody back that's possibly from the Federation
All
as she
right.
can.
Well, that'll let you reroll as many of those die as you wish. I'd recommend rerolling all of them.
Yeah.
Not to interrupt what she's doing, but as she is going through the facility, looking at the various different life signs and trying to localize them, Vizeth would pull the captain aside. So when we finish with that, maybe Captain Vizeth could have a minute.
Yeah, and
That's-
really, what this role is for is Stetco not getting you guys lost, and with 2 successes, you are navigating closer and closer to those human signals. But yeah, Captain and Vizeth, let's have your sidebar.
And I think just using a few different gestures, some of which you recognize as having been sort of learned by pantomime of humanoid mannerisms, Vizeth is going to call the captain back to slow down and take a position at the rear along with him so they can have a hushed conversation following Stetco. Captain, I believe that it is imperative we leave this place immediately.
I I understand your concerns, but if there are humans on board, we have to at least make an effort.
No, Captain, I don't believe that you do understand my concerns. I have not been entirely forthcoming regarding the nature of my people or the adversaries that we face.
Well, no time like the present.
Captain, you are familiar with the Borg, with species 8472. You and your Federation have faced foes that are beyond your technological abilities, but they're fundamentally mortal. The Borg have an ethos, a drive, a will for perfection. Species 8472 are biological organisms, incredibly complex, but they reproduce, they care for children, they have fears, an overriding fixation on purity. They're comprehensible. What we face now is not. It is not something that can be overcome by destroying ships or obliterating manufacturing facilities or star bases or killing people. It's not a foe or a group of beings. It's a thing. A them.
When we first came here, before we met you, we encountered the library, we encountered an analog to a mythological figure from Earth's past, a tormentor, a tempter. We know there are things out here beyond our understanding.
There are things out here beyond your capacity to understand.
Perhaps. Perhaps. Is this in any way related to the entity from the black hole and the Demyth system? Some sort of offshoot or directly related to that? What do you know about what's happening here now?
Before you can reply, Vizeth, there's a sudden rock, and all of you feel as if in an earthquake, as the floor and the surroundings just vibrate a little bit. Not like a Richter 8 earthquake, but if you've ever been like a 4 or 5, there's definitely a very distinct shudder of everything.
I'd like to scan the region. Is there any indication as to what might have caused that? A power surge, perhaps an attack against the vessel, something colliding with it?
Gonna spend 2 threat to say that, yeah, you know exactly where it's coming from. It's coming from behind you.
And I think actually dropping the tricorder, Vizeth is going to spin, and what does he see?
You see the back rooms, but written on the off yellow wallpaper of the myriad of walls, you see, and if anybody else looks, you do not see, but Vizeth, you see a bunch of arrows that are pointing towards a destination. So one wall will be pointing right, and then a wall will point that same direction, but from a different angle. They all seem to be pointing in a certain direction, and it is in almost the complete opposite way of the direction you're heading.
He's going to clench up slightly on the phaser rifle and then turn to Commander Stetko, hollering, I guess, towards her or tapping his comm badge if she's out of range because they deliberately separated themselves partially. Commander Stetko, may I have your assistance?
Right away. She'll join them.
All right. And again, yeah, Stetko, you're not seeing the arrows. You're just seeing those standard yellow walls. Nothing special about them.
Commander, would it be possible for you to use your empathic abilities to determine if I'm under the influence of any kind of psionic force? I believe that I may be hallucinating.
Jim, is that possible?
It's a bit of a stretch. You're going to have to roll for it, but I'll let it happen.
I would say she's likely severely handicapped because of the interference she's experiencing. So my hope would be like, if she tries to do this, then she also might glean an insight onto what would be doing that to her.
Mm-hmm. What I would tell you is that is going to drastically increase the complication range, but again, it is possible.
Okay, well, maybe. Okay, we'll see.
Could Razib assist with that, perhaps?
If Razib tells me how, but the base roll that Stetko is going to have to make, it's going to be a daring and a command. It is going to be a difficulty of 4, and your complication range is 16 to 20. So when it asks you when you roll, you would select 5 complication range, and it should handle the rest. And you have 5 momentum by my reckoning.
I'm happy to have Razib assist. He's basically going to pull out his tricorder the second he hears Vizeth say he might be hallucinating. Mm-hmm. And he'll be scanning for the protein analog to what's the telepathy protein neurotransmitter?
Psilocybin?
Yeah, psilocybin. He's going to be scanning for the Vergeron analog to that.
So Razib, you're going to assist with a reason medicine.
Sorry, I was muted. So I have behavioral analysis.
I'll give it to you.
Okay. And
is difficulty 4, so you do probably want to spend some momentum here.
Remind me, do I get a focus or no?
You do, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm going to go with xenobiology.
Yeah, would definitely apply.
We'll just get that out of the way early.
There you go. I have 2 successes. Very nice.
I have constantly watching, which is when I attempt a task to detect danger or hidden enemies, I reduce the difficulty by 1.
Would bring it down to a 3 then, yes.
Thank you. Okay, I'm rolling daring and command.
Correct.
I'm going to roll, what's the difficulty? You said 3 now?
It's 3 now, yep.
Okay, so I'll spend 3 momentum.
That would give you 4 dice to roll.
Okay. And okay, I'll just do it.
Wow.
All right. So the good
Cool.
news is overall that is 7 successes. So you get 4 momentum back, putting you at cap again.
Back
But
to
that is
full.
an 18. So kind of a catch-22 here. Good news, bad news type scenario.
Sure.
Stetko, you are detecting that the force, the entity, whatever you wish to call it, that's plaguing your mind is assaulting Vizeth's consciousness. And you have a pretty good idea that it's coming from the direction that Vizeth's seeing the arrows from. But the bad news is that complication is you are immediately going to suffer 4 stress from the sheer weight of this presence against
Okay.
your mind.
Okay.
So it's not enough to knock you out, but do note that you've taken 4 stress.
Oh, she's on the ground. She's not knocked out. She's on the ground at this point. Yeah. So I don't know how long that lasts. Maybe she can get back up, but she's on the ground, like holding her head.
What I would say is it's like one moment you're fine, and then you have the worst hangover of your life. So the room starts to spin, and you kind of fall to a knee and have to like breathe heavy and steady yourself. But you don't like go face planting onto the ground. Is it's not that far.
No, she's not like keeling over. She's like stumbling down just in the intensity of what's
Razib will
going on.
immediately try to catch or soften her fall while calling out to the captain if he does not seem to be noticing if he's taking point somewhere.
Well,
yeah.
Captain, you didn't
Ooh.
pass your roll earlier, so I'm going to need you to make a fitness and con difficulty of 2 now.
All right. Here we go. I'm gonna spend some momentum and roll 2 additional dice.
All right, so you're going to be rolling 4 dice total, dropping you down to 3 momentum.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
That's
Oh my
only
god.
1 success. Do you wish to use determination?
Uh,
Do it.
no.
Fine.
So you all look around
Consequences.
for the captain. The captain is nowhere to be found.
No, he's gone.
Yep.
Oh gosh. How long does her stressed situation like
It's
how long
going to
will that
last until the end of the scene, and I'll let you know when that is.
Okay.
Vizeth, we need to post up here until I can get Commander Stetko secure.
Doctor, if I may, I recommend that you and the commander return to the shuttlecraft. I will search for the captain. If I find him, I'll return.
That's not sit rep. If you get lost, then there's just the 2 of us, and we still need to get the captain.
GM, do I notice that I'm by myself now all of a sudden?
Yep. You
Where's
kind
Dorothy?
of walk out
Oh.
into the liminal space. You look around, and you have no idea where you are.
Oh hell. And he'll just tap his comm badge. Williams to away team.
And you get nothing.
All right. He's just gonna pull out his tricorder and try to get a fix on you know what? I think he's gonna try to get a fix on Edosian life signs.
Very important distinction there. Go ahead and roll me a reason science. I'm going to spend a little bit of threat here, but the difficulty will be a 3.
I'm so bad at science. All right, I'm gonna tap a value
Okay.
on this one. The value I'm gonna tap is hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
Okay.
And yeah, all right. Reason science.
Just need to see 1 success, and you're good.
Okay.
All right, there's your 1. So yeah, you actually do get a lock on an Edosian life sign, and seems to be to your left, and then forward and another right, and then another right, and then another right. But that's where your tricorder is taking you.
I'm gonna follow it, knowing full well that it may not lead me to where I want to go. But if there's some kind of intelligence behind what's happening here, presumably it's going to lead me somewhere.
Good thinking. We'll return to you in a moment. Let's go back to
Sure.
Vizeth, Stetko, and Razib.
Razib would have turned his tricorder on Stetco, scanning for the same anomaly that was affecting Vizeth.
So what I would say is that remember how you made deliberate scans of Stetco way back in season 1 when we were dealing with the entity? Double that.
Okay. Vizeth is going to grab a hypo injector from his baldric and pop it into his hypo spray. The hypo injector has handwritten notation in Adosian that if anybody could read it, that says use in that emergency that happened that one time. It is a GABA A receptor inhibitor, which prevents, or should block out these signals as long as the inhibitor remains at a certain consistency. So as Razib is popping in there and he's telling Commander Stetco all of this, he says, you're going to need regular infusions about every 15 minutes if the levels of exposure don't go down. And he zaps her in the throat.
It's the best description I can think is it doesn't get rid of the pressure entirely, but again, using the hangover as a reference point, it's like getting that first glass of blessed water where it's like, oh, my poor, poor throat, I can breathe again, kind of a scenario. So you're not out of the woods, but you're definitely not where you were.
Okay, so it's like helping with the intensity, but it's still sort of there.
Correct.
It's still there. Okay, just want to make sure we're not completely turning the dial to 0 on her empathy. So, okay.
Commander.
So she catches her breath and then stands up and just takes a deep breath, shoulders shrug. That's better. Thank you, Major.
All right. How are you feeling?
Better. Where's the captain?
He appears to have gotten himself lost. There is a reason that flag officers are not meant to join away parties, I believe.
Razib will tap his comm badge. Major Razib to Captain Williams.
Nothing.
Where's Dorothy? She'll look around for the XO.
Dorothy is also missing.
Whoa, no. No. Vizeth, you asked me
Perfect.
something earlier. If it was the same,
Yes.
it is.
Then it's entirely possible that all of our judgments will be compromised by hallucinations we may not even recognize as such. However, there is intentionality behind this, and he's going to point to the wall and then think better of it, let his hand fall. I still see arrows, a direction that's being offered to us by this force.
Do we follow it or do we not follow it?
Is it showing it to you because you're Vergeron?
I wouldn't even be able to pretend to understand the motivations behind this.
Can you tell me anything about what we're dealing with here, Vizeth?
My knowledge of it is highly limited. Our standing orders were to destroy any aperture, black hole, or apparent black hole that might have served as a gateway or some kind of pustule fit to burst on the surface of the universe that would allow an infection entry into our realm, into our plane of existence. I think that we've stumbled upon one of them.
Somehow they got in.
Or this is just the beginning, the burgeoning of that breach. If that's the case, it's imperative that we leave this vessel as soon as possible and sacrifice any lives that might actually be here. We should target this area with the wave motion gun and fire it to see if that actually collapses the aperture. That's the most that I know.
Pause for a second. GM,
Yes.
when she was investigating the human life form,
Yes.
I'm guessing she didn't get to round that corner.
Not yet, no. You kind of almost got to the corner, and then Vizeth had that whole, oh, I see arrows now moment. So you haven't
Okay.
rounded that corner quite yet.
If she were to check that corner, would that signal still be there?
It would be. And this is going to be a little bit trippy, so bear with me. And Williams, you're going to be on the same thing here. When you turn the corner, all of you, and you end up in this new space, it's an MC Escher staircase where there's staircases and walkways on the walls, the ceilings. Some of them don't even connect to one another. But to highlight how weird this thing is, Williams, you're on the right wall, and gravity to you is normal. And I'm only going to throw Stetko on the map here because, tokens are so large. But Stetko, you're on what you think is the floor, and Williams is on the wall to your right.
Commander,
Captain?
this phenomenon bears a striking resemblance to designs for old ring stations that used centrifugal force to simulate gravity.
I didn't take you for an architect, sir.
Well, I'm not.
I think we gotta go.
I'm getting that sense. The longer I spend here, the more, well, call it foreboding.
Oh, we've lost Dorothy.
Oh, hell.
Dorothy-
Respectfully,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
is it not incumbent upon us to leave her behind? There are many other Dorothys, as many as she is required to create.
Did we confirm that?
I'm not going
Out
to
of
say a single
character.
word on this. Nope.
Dorothy's
Okay.
primary matrix is joined with the ship. It's just this ancillary sensory aspect of Dorothy that wouldn't be reintegrated upon rejoining.
Akin to losing the tip of a finger. Not pleasant, but a sacrifice that would be well worth it.
While I don't think Dorothy would object, I do object to leaving Dorothy here in the hands of whatever is playing around with us. She possesses far too much knowledge of the Federation.
Razib will reconfigure his tricorder to scan for exocomp.
It's a stretch, but I'll
Alloys.
let it happen. Go ahead and I'm going to tell you it's going to be difficult, though. Go ahead and roll me let's call this a reason medicine. I'm going to make the difficulty here a 5, and the complication range is going to be 18 to 20, so you would put in 2 when it asks. And you have 3
Can I-
momentum by my reckoning.
Can I attempt
Dorothy
to assist
even-
him?
How would you be assisting him?
Well, there are 2 ways that I can think of.
Hmm.
The captain is at this point, a fairly decent engineer.
Mhm.
And
Thank you.
oh yeah,
Thank
we
you,
got a few
chat.
powers. Thanks. I'm wondering if we could perhaps in some way daisy chain our tricorders together to sort of amplify the range or the ability to sort of penetrate the phenomenon to locate Dorothy.
All right, you can roll
Just
with
gonna-
daring engineering.
I was going to use my determination.
Okay.
Measure twice, cut once. And with the enhanced sensory range given by daisy chaining our tricorders, Razib is going to make extra sure that the sensor calibration is dialed in to those alloys that would only be present on an exocomp matrix.
All right, I'll let it happen. So how many additional die do you wish to roll here?
I would like to roll 2 additional die.
In that case, it would take all your momentum and 1 threat.
Well, I have bold medicine, so I'm just going to give that all to you in threat.
Oh, all you need to do is give him 1 threat for that.
See, this is how you find the right answer on the internet. You give a really wrong answer first.
As a quick point, might Vizeth also be able to assist not by actually using one of his skills, but by employing his intelligence officer talent, the modified one, such that he informs them of what he knows of the kind of interference fields or the psionic presence that might disrupt tricorder scans lowering the difficulty by 1.
It would lower the difficulty to a 4, yes, which means since you've spent determination and Williams has rolled a 1, you only need to roll 1 success here.
Okay.
Question.
Yes.
Actually, I should ask this in character to Vizeth. So go ahead and whenever I have an opportunity.
All right, so that is actually, that is a total of 7 successes.
Bold.
Oh, yeah, you do have bold if you want to reroll that 20.
I would like to re-roll that 20.
Roll that complication.
So it's just re-rolling with 1 dice, but the complication range is still...
Still, I think it's supposed to be 3 when it asks, not 2, because 2 only gave you 19.
Sorry. Okay, so do I still add using focus determination to the second
Yeah,
one?
I mean, you still have all that, yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we'll take that first 15. But the good news is you get 7 successes without a complication, so you actually get 4 momentum back. Or is it? No, it was difficulty 5. It went to a 4, so you get 3 back.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys working together are able to find an exocomp signature deeper within the Escher maze. And as you're walking, I think, Stetko, you wanted to ask something of Vizeth.
Yeah. Vizeth, is it even likely that Dorothy would be affected by this entity, given that she exists within an artificially intelligent matrix?
Dorothy's construction is more advanced than anything my people have ever attempted to construct. We focus our efforts on biotechnical evolution rather than strictly, what is it, positronic? I don't know.
I'm just wondering if we're lost, but she's not.
I think this thing transcends flesh and duotronic relays.
I'll take your advice on that.
Razib's going to try the dumb approach. Razib to Dorothy.
There is that pause, not just stalling. There is that pause.
Yeah, well,
But
it
yeah,
just means
after a moment, as you're about to give up, you hear, "Yay! Hey, Major. Where did you all go?"
We have been separated due to the nuances of this place. We've locked on to some of your duonetic alloys. They are very unique in this place. I think the presumption is that we're going to evac, and we may need to beam you out.
Okay,
Captain?
can you get back to the shuttle?
The 4 of us are together, so we'll be traversing on foot.
Okay. Do you know the way back to the shuttle? Because it was weird. Like, I mean, I didn't walk, I floated, but I floated out into basically ruined corridors like you would find on any junker or anything else. And you guys kind of got weirdly quiet and started moving off to the right. And I tried to follow you, but then you like disappeared behind a corridor. I've kind of been looking for you for a while.
Dorothy, are there any signs of life where you are?
There's some sort of fungus or some form of, I don't know what to call it, some miasma maybe that is clinging to the walls, similar to what happened when we found Vizeth, if you remember that.
Understood. No sentient life encountered, though, as far as you know?
Well, that's the weird thing. I'm actually about to turn the corner and supposedly meet a sentient life form. Unknown, never encountered before.
Keep your comms open, Dot.
Proceed with caution.
Vizeth, I don't think I ever asked you about why your ship was lost as it was when we found you.
You found me in a restorative pod. I was unconscious for the conflict that consumed the lives of my crewmates. I don't have answers for you, Commander. Although, given what we encountered with the nascent portal to another universe, the apparent black hole. I suspect that they ran afoul of them.
What of the infection that had consumed the ship?
Some precursor of their arrival, an incomplete partial transition into this plane of existence, a harbinger of their eventual arrival.
Yeah, we got to get the hell out of here.
Let me see if I'm clear. The ship is inhabited by interdimensional fungus, and it's making us hallucinate this, and that's why Dot can see everything just fine, but we're cuckoo.
Yes, as a matter of fact, it seems to be able to, if it's a biological agent, it can get through all the biofilters and scrubbers on our UV suits. But I suspect it's entirely more likely to be some form of psionic, perhaps, that
Well, there's definitely telepathic fuckery afoot, Captain.
language.
Yes.
I'm
Strong
afraid
language.
That has no translation into my language. What does this mean?
We'll cover it when we're back on Euthenia.
I see. Thank you, Doctor. Your education is always appreciated.
Likewise.
Oh no.
All right.
Captain?
Nothing.
Shall we make haste?
I think that's wise.
All right.
And as soon as we get out, Mr. Vaseth, I'd like you to see to the arrangements regarding this Hulk.
Gladly, Captain.
And as you chase after Dorothy, that's where we're going to take our 5 to 10 minute break. So we'll be back shortly, everybody. Stick around.
2.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to part 2 of session 3 of season 2 of Euthenia. If you're just joining us, well, as you can probably see in the backgrounds of my players, they've been in the backgrounds. They've been in MC Escher's staircase. They've been in a place that has no discernible rules. But apparently their trusty AI, Dorothy, is unaffected by the mind-altering effects of whatever the hell this place is. And I was going to do this before the break, but I think I want to do this now. When you all turn the corner and you see Dorothy, there's going to be a multitude of emotions on my players' faces, but I will do my best to describe through them. As you all step onto the bridge of the USS Fenrir, across the bridge, you see Dorothy in her exocomp body, just sort of floating there. And next to her is a avian individual. She has a humanoid face. She kind of has long eyebrows. She has head wings that are stark white. Her arms and legs are very sinewy, very lithe. And she kind of has almost like a tribal look to her, where it's not quite like an Asiatic robe that she's wearing, but it's something a little more, not primitive, but a little less advanced, if that makes any sense. Not quite a yukata, but something maybe closer to just a standard smock. But in any case, as you all come into the bridge, Dorothy turns and goes, "Oh, that's them. Hi, guys. Captain, you're standing in something right now." And Captain, if you look down, you don't see you're standing in anything.
I'll have to take your word for it. And I think almost absently, still facing Dorothy, the captain will actually move behind the Fenrir's tactical console.
And
just
you
sort
look,
of be looking down.
as you remember it, where if you were to push buttons, they would work.
Still got my old layout and everything.
Do we all see Fenrir, or is it just
You
the captain?
all see Fenrir, yes.
Dorothy, what do you see?
I see that we're in a cargo hold. The captain has stepped in something blue, and there's a pillar of, I would guess, some form of metal to Stetko's right. And aside from that, this place is pretty empty. Stetko, if you were to look, that thing to your right is kind of the stanchion, which the security station is attached to on the bridge of the Fenrir.
Mm.
Captain, permission to perform a non-standard self-medicating procedure. Given that it seems that the rest of us who have blood and stuff are being affected by this telepathic shenaniganery, because you don't like cursing words, I'm going to inject myself with a Thorda C inhibitor to see if I can block out whatever's affecting me. And if that works, then I can inoculate everybody else.
Doctor, I leave all medical matters up to your discretion.
Cool.
Razib, I'm going to need you to make me a fitness medicine at a difficulty of 4. You do not have a focus here. You have 3 momentum.
Awesome.
What the?
I am going to employ quick study
Okay.
to ignore any difficulty increase from my unfamiliarity with this procedure.
Doesn't help you here, unfortunately, but good try.
So I've got 2 dice, no focus.
2 dice, no focus. You have 3 momentum, and hope and a prayer.
Well, I'll use 2 momentum for a 3rd dice. How's that?
It would be 1 momentum for a 3rd die.
Okay, that's cool.
You could spend all 3 for 2.
Or you can spend all 3 for 2 extra ones.
Blow all our momentum.
Yeah,
it.
but if I spend 1 for an extra dice, and then how much threat do I
2
have to
threat.
give you? So 2 threat, then I get the benefit of bold.
Bold. All right. That's sound
So
logic.
one momentum and 2 threat, and for all the nuggies.
And that is 3 successes. You actually
Nice.
Actually, hold on. You needed 4, so not so nice.
Reroll.
Bold.
You do have bold, so probably want to reroll that 16.
All right, no focus, no determination, blah blah blah. 1 die roll.
There you
Oh.
go. You get your 4.
Nice.
There's that moment where I don't know what the equivalent would be on an Adosian, but kind of like you get socked in the throat and the stomach at the same time, and you kind of like cough and sputter as this chemical races through your body. But after a moment, you kind of shake your head and come back to it, and you see what Dorothy sees. You see a decrepit cargo hold with, again, William stepped in something blue. There's a metal column that runs through the space, but other than that, it's empty. It's run down. It looks like it's seen better days.
Oh, that's so much better. Honestly, that yellow was getting to me. Captain, it seems I have pulled myself out of whatever hallucination has been employed here. Captain's on mute.
Yes.
RJ?
The hallucination is blocking his audio.
Forgot to turn the speaker on my EV suit. Well, Major, let's administer a dose to everyone. Wait, before you do you see that person? And he points to the avian figure.
You do.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'll go next.
All right. It's going to take me a minute to calibrate the hypo spray for the precise dosage. So just stand by. I don't know if there's anything you guys want to do while I'm doing this. That's why I made time for it. But if not, I can just zap.
You mean on the bridge of our first ship together?
I was never on.
Seko has
this
no
ship.
idea what this place is.
It's just
It's a
another
ship
starship
bridge.
bridge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess really it's only the captain who would be
Yeah.
like wistful.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It's just like behind the tactical console. I blew up so many things here.
All right, Williams, since you're getting injected next, fitness medicine difficulty of 4.
That's unreasonable.
What's your score?
My medicine, actually, my medicine's 2. So you know what? It's 11. It could happen. Difficulty 4. I could roll
Medicine.
the guys here.
Oh god. It's
to the
medicine.
wind,
Medicine
my
roll?
friends. To the wind.
You have
I
2
can
momentum
roll-
if you want to use it.
I will use that. I'll give you 1 point of threat.
Okay, so you're rolling 4.
All right.
And they all got to be underneath 11.
Here we go. 4. Vision range is 1.
Receive
Nope.
will also position himself to catch the captain if he decides to collapse.
It's a good thing you do because, yeah, the captain starts going down like a tree being felled. And yeah, Williams, you're going to take 4 stress as you're caught by Razib.
Ah,
But yeah, I mean, the world is swirling around you, but after you push through, yeah, you're starting to see that same decrepit cargo hold.
Oh. What was in that?
lots of psilocybin inhibitor, protein chains, chocolate.
He just sort of looked around it. This place is a dump.
Well, I'm glad we agree on one thing.
What's all this blue all over me?
Vizeth, indulge me for one moment. If I were to set my trusty phaser to a particular setting, do you think I can neutralize the fungus that's growing in here?
It is a biological organism, but I would recommend that you scan it with your tricorder first to see if it would have an aggressively adverse reaction.
That's really thoughtful of you. Are you okay?
My concern is obviously for the only medical practitioner among our group. Your skills are unique.
Then I will take your advice.
In the meantime, Captain, and he looks over at the woman at whom he is still pointing a phaser rifle. Would you not wish to engage with this entity?
Yes, of course. I was busy falling over.
Of course, your penchant for diplomacy would take over, even in this ridiculous situation.
Of course. And GM, I don't recognize this person at all, right?
Nope. New alien species for you.
Oh, damn. Okay. Yeah, he'll step forward and see. Greetings. I'm Captain Williams of the Federation Starship Euthenia.
And the woman doesn't speak, but almost like American Sign Language, she begins to sign something, and Dorothy turns to watch, and Dorothy says, Avalis, that's her name, she says she's happy to meet you, and that she's hoping you know what's going on, because she does not.
No, I'm afraid that we don't, but how did you get here?
Dorothy turns again. She says that she woke up here, she doesn't know where she is, and that she... Sorry, it's a little hard to translate. I've kind of figured out her language, but not entirely. And there's kind of a beeps and bloops as Dorothy tries to figure out kind of the crosstalk. She's apparently from a pre-warp civilization. This is her first time seeing an alien.
Oh. Well, that's auspicious, and I'm very happy to meet you. Major, can you dose those two, please?
On it.
All right. Out of curiosity, who are you dosing next?
Well, I've dosed the commander, but the commander's just blocked the pain. Commander still sees the bridge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, the commander, rank order.
Okay. Stetko, I need you, because of your unique situation with the whole empathy, your fitness medicine is a 5.
Okay.
Is there any way that I can assist, given that I've already dosed the commander once, and I have intimate knowledge of the commander's neurophysiology?
That you do. You can roll a control medicine.
I don't think I have any focuses.
Yeah, I don't think so. But you do have 1 momentum from chat. You've got that going for you.
Thanks, chat. So how much momentum do we have?
Just the one.
It says 0. Oh shit. Okay.
All right. Well, you got 2, and Razib gets you a complication. Nice.
That's okay.
So, Stetko, how much stress do you have at the moment?
How much did she
4.
take earlier?
Earlier, you took
4.
4.
10. She has 10 now.
10 now. You are going to take a non-lethal injury as you take 5 stress. So technically, I can't. If for any reason combat happens, I can't target you. But you are. Before you were stumbling to the ground. This time you're injected and you just go onto your face. It's that bad. You're still conscious, but barely.
Okay. Yeah. She'll do that.
We're just looking real good at our jobs right now.
What the?
That's what
Oh.
you get with Wild West medicine. Fast and loose.
I am.
Frontier medicine. Boy. It's a
Frontier
gamble.
medicine.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
You pay
Doctor,
your money, you take your chances.
It appears as if you have identified a more potent stimulant than any kind of cure. Or I should say, intoxicant, perhaps?
I
Anesthetic?
carried a 9 when I should have carried an 8. That's what happened.
Hmm.
Oops.
But the good news, Stetko. Hey, decrepit cargo hold. Welcome to the club.
She can't perceive this because she's out.
Well, you're not
Dreaming.
out. You're just kind of on that edge of consciousness right now.
Oh, okay. Okay. So yeah, the reality phases away or
Mhm.
phases in, and she's just on the ground.
Razib is kneeling down beside her to monitor her vitals.
With any strength she has, she grabs a scruff. Stop doing that.
Yes, Commander.
And then she like goes to sleep.
And at this, Avalis signs a little bit frantically, and Dorothy says, Avalis wants to know why you just knocked out... Oh, okay, she thinks we're gods now. That's not good.
Oh, no, we aren't any kind of gods. We just
Great
have.
first contact.
She is very close to being accurate in my case, but
Dorothy, can you transliterate?
Yeah,
Can you-
do you
can
not
you
hear
translate?
the beeps? I'm
Oh, no,
beeping back to
I'm-
her.
I'm asking a specific question. Can you tell us if Avalis sees the cargo hold? Like reality as you do?
Okay, I'll try. And there's some beeps and bloops. She says that she sees herself in a field of flowers, I think. Though it's weird, her intonation on the flowers suggests that not real. So either she knows that this is an illusion, or it's very confusing. I'm sorry. It's being lost in translation here. That's the best I can do.
Well, Specialist Vizeth, do you want to have a go?
and he just shoulders the phaser rifle and extends an arm. Major,
He'll be fine.
Zeth, you're fine. After a moment, reality returns to what it should be. You see a decrepit cargo hold. Everything is fine.
most effective, Doctor.
Razib's expression is very much like, I did not expect that, but I'm very pleased with the outcome.
GM, is there a computer access point here in this cargo bay anywhere?
There is, and it's one of those things where if you were to look behind you where you just came in, there's that stereotypical double door that slides open.
Panel?
Yeah, there's a panel next to that door. Though it is a Vergeron computer system, is what I would tell you.
That's why I'm going to say, Viseth, can you access that computer and perhaps download a ship's log, a record of events? I'd like to know what happened here before we leave.
And as he strides forward, dodging the puddles of blue liquid or viscous material on the floor, as he makes his way to the console, he's just going to say, that information may not be accessible from a cargo bay computer, Captain, but I will do my best.
So,
Steps
Vizeth,
forward.
talk to me about your engineering score.
I have an engineering score of 3.
Okay, yeah, that's decent. Go ahead and give me a insight engineering difficulty of 2.
Okay, insight is not very good at all. Okay. And we have no momentum, I believe?
Not at the moment, no.
Chat,
Now chat's on cooldown.
chat, please.
Experimental weapon
No.
systems, ancient
No,
technology, shipboard
no.
tactical systems.
No, it's a cargo hold computer, unfortunately.
Yeah, okay. I'll give you 1 threat to roll 3 dice.
Oh,
Evil.
Nakaro has made it an evil redeem.
Thanks,
That's not what I
Nakaro.
asked for.
Oh,
That's not what I asked for. I want
I
a
see
refund.
you.
Put in your complication range of 3 when it asks.
oh, okay. You know what? Instead of rolling 3 dice, I'm going to spend 1 momentum or 1 determination.
Okay.
And I will tap my value. Life finds a way to adapt, so must I.
Okay.
And this is, I suppose, actively going against his native inclinations to simply leave and destroy the ship, in that he is staying behind in order to accumulate information and possibly use this in the future. So it is sort of an adaptation from his usual strategy.
Okay, I'll let it happen.
Okay. And sorry, I didn't input the right.
No, you're good. That's a 6 and a 12, so that's 3 successes. That's what you needed. So what happens is you go to access the computer, and since, again, it's a Vergeron computer, you know your way around it. You have more access than you were expecting. You actually have access to the power generators from here, though it's not as simple as an on-off. You can reroute power, and you can turn off certain passageways or EPS conduits the power is flowing through, but you can't actually turn off the generators themselves. And what you would see is that, yeah, they are in the cascading process. If you leave it alone for another hour and a half, this process of destabilizing will consume the entire ship.
And moving aside slightly to reconfigure the display such that it can be better understood by a human rather than a Vergeron, he'll point out a series of power relays and conduits running through the ship. Captain, it seems as if the vessel may have been set to self-destruct or something analogous to it. There's a recursive power feedback loop inside the main power generation systems. I believe we have about an hour before it detonates.
Razib, how long will these injections stave off whatever was affecting us before?
I'm spending 2 threat. 15 minutes!
Well, seems to me the course of action is clear, but not desirable. We'll evac the ship and destroy it.
And Dorothy beeps and boops at Avalis. She still thinks we're gods, but she kind of likes the idea of getting out of here, so she's ready to follow me, I guess. Okay, that's weird.
Yeah, please reiterate that we aren't gods.
I trust me, every time she signs something, I say, no, we're not gods, and she's just ignoring me, I think.
And now, it's going to be awkward the first time she sees a window when we get back on Euthenia.
Ian,
Yeah, what's up?
Razib is collecting fungi samples
Okay.
and also
Yeah.
trying to see if there's a way to
Not bringing that on the
what?
Not bringing that on the ship.
Medical prerogative.
Overridden.
What you don't know can't hurt me.
No, but what I don't know could kill all of us.
Sicko is injured and laying right there. And
Right?
he's just collecting fungus samples
She went to sleep of her own accord. She's fine.
of her own accord by his hand.
Technicalities. He's going to be scanning these things to see if there's a way to do a wide beam phaser sweep that may disable the hallucinogenic properties or just disturb them enough to get them to stop doing it to us.
All right, I'll let it happen. It's going to be an insight science or an insight medicine, difficulty of 3.
I
With
do
a
have a question about the
complication
power
range
systems in a second.
Yeah, complication range of 17 to 20 on this one.
Can I get xenobiology on
I'll
this
give you
one?
Xeno.
So I'm a quick study.
Quick study I've already factored in.
Okay. Why are you coughing?
I think that shot you gave me.
Oh, yeah, that's a side effect. You're fine. Can I give you a threat for a die?
For a third die, yep.
Okay. For all the marbles and the fungi. Oh, I'm gonna re-roll that 20.
Well, that 19, either way, that's still, because it's 17 to 20, so there's still at least one complication on the field.
Right, but 2 complications is bad.
This is true.
So let's try this one more time. What'd you say the threat range was?
I think if you put in 4, it should do it correctly.
Ew.
All right. So you've turned it into 2 successes with 1 complication. So I'll give you a choice. You can either fail with a complication or you can succeed with 2 complications.
I love this choice. I love it. Can I tell you how much I love it? We're going to succeed with multiple complications.
Yes.
You think you have a way to use your type 3 to destroy the fungus. However, when you begin to do so, there is an ungodly, unworldly sound and another earthquake, this time far more violent than the one before, as the fungus is disintegrated. But Vizeth, that power signature, that cycle, it's now about 20 minutes. And that's complication 1. Complication 2 is that Avalis starts freaking out, like she starts hyperventilating, and she's kind of looking and signing frantically at Dorothy, and Dorothy's like beep 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 boop boop boop, and then Avalis just faints on the spot. Captain, for the record, that was not me. I think she just kind of got overloaded.
All right. Well,
Okay, it means it's working.
It also means, Captain, that we have 20 minutes to vacate the vessel before the power signature reaches critical.
well, we'd better get moving. Vaseth, could you please assist Commander Stetko?
Of course. And he'll bend down and sort of fireman carry her as best as possible out.
And I think the captain's going to do the same for Avalis.
Okay. So now
That means
comes a
Razib's taking
very,
point.
very, very important role.
Oh, good.
Does anybody remember how to get back to the shuttle?
Dorothy.
Dorothy does.
So Dorothy will
needs
follow
to roll
you.
here.
Good.
All right, let me ask this. Do you want me to roll for Dorothy, or do you guys want to try?
Well, it is a con roll, right? So who has the highest con score?
Thanks, Stetko.
-3.
Who has the highest con score that's awake is the question you want to be asking.
What's the other thing, though? Is it control con?
It would be a fitness con to remember the way back.
It'd be a
Her-
12 for me.
She's
You
a
can-
4 con.
UB fitness dice all up in you. You got it.
I have 12 as well.
How much does Stetko have? Combined fitness con?
Combined fitness con.
Mm-hmm.
13.
Okay. I actually think that would
Just
be
feel-
kind of
You
funny.
just feel like I was
where
back.
it's
No, go that way.
Mhm.
It's just like-
Yeah, that's good.
You're going the wrong way.
Sure. I guess
Yeah.
she could. Is she like in like a high, like she's knocked out, like, or she's really in a bad way, like physically?
Mhm.
How is she doing, like, with her powers?
I would
Is it,
say
like,
your empathy is all over
overloaded?
the place. The good news is that you're not, because of the earlier injection, the first injection, you're not feeling the wrath of the entity.
Okay.
But you definitely sense a lot of anger coming from it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, she might wake up and be able to be like woken up enough to lead the way. I don't know if
Okay.
like I'm allowed to roll for that
Yeah,
if
you
she's
can roll.
technically
You can
injured.
roll.
So what is it?
So-
Fitness.
It's a fitness con, and the difficulty is a 3.
Um,
Oh,
you
I
got
have a
this.
value, but did I already tap that?
You already tapped one, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Captain's
a perfect
here, though.
value.
Captain is
I-
here, but he's used his determination.
I've
as
used mine
well.
too, but I can I assist with presence command?
You're gonna have to
Sort of-
sell me on that one.
All right. So here's the thing. The captain, he's not going to say it, but he knows he's not going to be the guy to lead them out of this because he got lost in the first place. So his judgment here is not to be trusted. But from his perspective, Stetko found him. So Stetko is sort of like in charge and found him in that weird MC Escher room. So I think really what he's going to do is sort of talk to her like sort of sternly, almost authoritatively, if she's like sort of a little loopy or whatever,
Mhm.
to tap into that almost at this point muscle memory of like discipline, like Starfleet discipline. Say, Commander, I need you to do this, so you need to tell us where we are and how to get out, and sort of like that's an order, all that stuff. And
I'll let it happen, but for your assist, the complication range will now be an 18 to 20.
right.
I just want to say for the record, one of her values is always have an exit strategy.
I mean,
Not that that matters, but it's cool. So I'm rolling fitness and con.
Fitness con, you need 3 successes overall.
no, I
And
didn't
that's
get
a
you any help.
complication.
And I got you a complication.
Gosh,
Congratulations.
dang it. I have nothing. We have no momentum.
No, you'd have to give me
You
threat
could-
for additional
you can give
die.
him you can give him a threat, but
But that's like cheap at the end, like the end of the game, the session. to
Oh,
do that,
don't
right?
worry.
'Cause it doesn't roll over.
I do special
Okay,
things
never
with threat.
mind.
Don't worry.
because now you're going to get to, because I've assisted you with my command discipline.
Okay.
I've got the advisor talent. You're going to get to reroll one of your dice for free.
Okay, well, I'm rolling, and it's
Go for it.
2 dice with
you
no
got
focus
this.
for determination.
I would at least
So-
give him 1 threat, but okay.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
2. So you would have to either take a success with 2 complications, or you'd have to re-roll one of those die and hope it's a 1.
I think it could succeed at cost, but that's your decision.
Well, that's
Or
what I
what
mean by
could
succeeding
succeed
at
at
cost
cost?
is you'd have the two
Yeah.
complications. Yeah.
I'm okay with 2 complications.
Okay.
Those are interesting. They've been interesting tonight.
Yeah.
So, Stetko, it is one of those things where you're just barely there enough between Williams ordering you and Vizeth carrying you. You just remember enough to get back to the shuttle. And it's one of those things where you finally turn a corner and you are just greeted with the blessed sight of the gantry back to the Shikaris escort. However, the complication is, and since it's one for the captain and one for Stetko, between you and Freedom, Stetko, you see something that I think Matthew, in his Lovecraftian knowledge, would best know as a Shoggoth, or basically a gibbering pile of flesh and tentacles and eyes and just not good things. Razib, you don't see that. Vizeth, you don't see that. Williams, you see that for your complication.
I think the captain's just like, what the hell is that? And he'll raise his phaser.
The gantry, sir.
You don't see that horrible horrible, quivering, gibbering mound of flesh that has too many mouths and eyes and strange appendages.
Captain, I'm going
I
to
will
need you to trust
bathe in
me.
your blood. I will find where you sleep, and I will visit you at night.
And it just goes on and on.
It talks like a Klingon.
If I had seen it, I would have shot it. You know me better than that.
Do not believe him. He always lies. He lies about everything.
All right, now I know you're full of it. Let's go.
So what's Stetko doing though? What's
Is she sort of still out of it?
Mhm.
But I think she's like, okay, I see this, but I like can't deal with this. Like physically, I can't do anything about this. So she's completely relying on like hopefully somebody else is going to do something about it because she can't.
So you're being carried.
Safety.
That's the good news.
I think the I gotta know. The captain's gonna just give it one with the Type 3 phaser. See what happens.
Control security, difficulty of 2.
I'd like to know what settings those phasers were on.
Would you hit
Don't
2
roll.
complications? We blow a hole in the side of the ship.
No, you get. Interestingly, failure was what you wanted to have happen here because you shoot through the thing, you confirm that the thing is an illusion, but you hit the
Phaser's on
interior
stun.
of the escort, and the escort immediately thinks it's a security problem, so it slams the door shuts and begins retracting the gantry.
Dorothy.
Dr. Razib to escort medical override 1125638 pi alpha. Open the
Roll me
door.
a challenge dice. If you get an effect, it goes through.
Okay, I haven't rolled a challenge die on here. How do I
Perform
do
challenge, and you'd put in 1.
that? Isn't that wonderful? Unintended.
There you go. Yeah, gets through. Good job. So after a moment of like, oh dear, did we just shoot our right out of here? There's that blessed beam out sound as you all dematerialize and rematerialize back on the Shikaris escort.
We have everybody, including our newfound friend.
You do. But there's a frantically beeping console waiting somebody to go hit it.
Razib will sit at the con.
This is Commander Rash. Williams, are you back yet? Please tell me you're
Go ahead,
back.
Commander. Go ahead.
Okay, so 2 things. 1, replace your chair. Deal with that later. Second thing, that thing is about to blow. You need to get the hell away from it.
We know. We're coming now.
Okay. And there's kind of that cinematic view where we see the Shikaris escort like beelining out of hell or just soaring away from this thing as what remains of the Vergeron destroyer doesn't really explode, but it begins to sort of fade and crumple in on itself and fold in ways that are very, very unnatural. And eventually it squeezes down to a point of light, and then with a pop, it's gone.
I owe Stetko 20 replicator rations. Damn it.
Vizeth, just staring out at the void of space, is going to turn over to the captain and say, you do realize that all of this could have been avoided if we just fired that salvo of quantum torpedoes.
Well, I think being the intelligence officer, you ought to know that the Euthenia's torpedo launchers aren't functional.
True. We do have the micro-quantum torpedoes on board the various different bomber wings, though.
Correct. I do take your point, Viseth, but I had to be satisfied that there was nobody left to save.
I can understand that impulse, Captain.
So I think that's the end of the session, unless somebody wants to cover something before we sign off.
Razib is just going to ask Dorothy if our guest has any proclivities about returning home.
Oh, you know what? I'm glad you asked that because I almost signed off before saying something very, very important.
Excuse me.
So Avalis does wake up enough to sign something at Dorothy, and Dorothy says, "Okay, assuming I just translated that correct, she says that this is her first time in this dimension." And that's where we'll end today's session because that is the asshole moment I have to end the session on.
Nice.
So yeah, what did you guys think?
I
know that
told you it was going to be a good show today. It was great.
Yeah, there was one of
Yeah,
those
that was
where
awesome.
it was one of
Most
those where I
good.
was worried that the backrooms thing was gonna either fall flat or it wasn't gonna take enough time, and I'm glad that it actually lasted as long as it did.
Yeah,
'Cause, you know,
it's a good concept. It's fun to play out with our
yeah, and
characters.
what I would tell you, because I don't mind saying this, had you explored any of the other life signs, because you specifically went for specific ones, you would have found portals to Kronos, you would have found portals to the Cation homeworld, you would have found portals to other places. But you didn't, so I just wanted to let you know that there were possibilities there.
Hopefully they can take any learnings and
Yeah, so
and
everything you
scans
learn
and-
between your scans, between Dorothy, you have a cornucopia of data to sift through.
cool.
Excellent. Oh, and perhaps we can apply some of that to things like the micro wormhole generator or the Midas array.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yes, this session had many elements to it that can be applied to future ones. But yeah.
Great.
Love
All
it.
right, well,
Beautiful.
so Twitch, this is where YouTube, this is where we say goodbye, but Twitch, stick around because we're going to rate somebody. But YouTube, see you later.